Every day is better than the one before. Make a choice to share your voice. Take a stand and change the world. While you're out planting seeds of hope, other folks are starting wars. Every day gets better than the day before.
Hey there, and welcome to Higher Living Network. We're here today with my friend James Woodruff, who's a teacher at Columbine High School. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, you guys. How you doing?
We're great. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. Really glad to be here with you.
Thanks for coming on. We're happy to have you.
So yeah, today we're here to talk about creating some safe places in our public schools. And one of the first things that I'd like to ask you today, Jim, is how long have you been teaching at Columbine High School?
This is my 11th year, so I'll be 11 years as of May.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been really, I teach basically every grade of English language arts. I've taught every grade. Yeah, it's just been a wonderful experience.
Awesome. I could have used your help editing. I'm sure. Yeah, that's an entirely different job. Yeah, especially when I'm the one writing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
I fortunately have some good friends that had hung on to all that knowledge. I seem to forget high school and college English, but anyway, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was talking, we talked a little bit before. I've got a sophomore in high school and a 8th grader who will be there next year. And, we've all talked about, we found out this morning another shooting in Maryland. Like, what's going on?
Oh, my goodness.
Like, I want to get your perspective, not only from being at Columbine, but, a place that's got that horrible history, but also, what are you seeing today that a lot of parents are not seeing? What's happening? Why is this on the rise?
I wish I had a real clear-cut answer. I think I spent a few years, after 99 trying to kind of find like a root cause somewhere out there. And it's just really hard to do. I think the closest I think anyone I've found has come to that is probably David Cullen, writer, who wrote probably the most authoritative and reliable source on the Columbine, shootings. And I believe he's a writer for the Denver Post. But Dave Cullen, I think, came as close as anyone. It's hard to say. I know that when you come to Columbine High School, it's a high school, and really, the subject, the history is sure it's present, and a lot of folks were there at the time, but it's just not a thing anyone ever really thinks about on any kind of day-to-day level.
Yeah.
So it's, a lot of times I'm sort of taken kind of by surprise, at certain kind of events or incidents. I think every school gets threats, bomb threats or what have you. And we'll get them. And then of course, it always seems to be like, we have a spate of them. And occasionally, the news media one day will be outside of our building. And I just think, what is this about, really?
They're just showing up there to ask questions to you guys?
Or not even. Really, it's just a backdrop.
Yeah.
TV media has done that several times since I've been here. And I just think, I don't know. I don't feel good about that at all.
Not an amusement.
I guess.
Pull up a clip if you.
I don't know. Yeah, it's part. I really don't know. What goes into broadcasting, about a regional shooting. Maybe you need an effective backdrop, but I do kind of wish local media would just kind of leave that alone. I think, if anything, since 1999, I think we've seen that Columbine is not an outlier. It's not, unfortunately, it's not an unusual occurrence, which is, kind of a sad state of affairs. But I don't really know. I mean, is part of it the availability of firearms? I suppose. I don't know that. I don't know that I could point to a specific root cause, really.
Yeah. What about how long have you been teaching?
I've taught high school for about 11 years. I was a paraprofessional for 2 years. Taught at the college, adjunct level at college level for about 5-6 years.
Okay.
I could speak to more about it seems like what kids are looking for is not just a safe space, but a space for experimentation and adventure, and in doing so, kind of finding some kind of direction or vision, or basically finding their own heart, I think.
Yeah. It's a tough age. I mean, I don't know many adults that would dare go back to, what they're going through. Yeah. Especially in this day and age with technology has changed the game completely. I mean, my kids fortunately have been not gotten any trouble, but I'm like, guys, you cannot be too careful. Quit taking pictures of stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. It's technology has been a real game changer. But I think, I would not say I had a great experience in high school myself.
Me either.
And a lot, you're right. And I don't know, something about that has enabled me to be here and really love it. I mean, I think I hear a lot of, I get a lot of questions, about working with this age group. I love this age group. It's a really powerful, potent time in a person's life.
Yeah.
And and there's something that fascinates me about that, and I don't think that's really different today than it ever has been, but it's really pretty magical to be able to work with kids as they're really kind of stepping into they are no longer familiar to themselves.
What do you mean by that?
They come in as little tiny people. Yeah. And man, they leave as like giants.
Yeah. No, I understand. My son is a sophomore, and he's shot way past me, and he's a lot bigger than me. I wouldn't mess with him.
It's alarming, isn't it? How quickly that happened. I don't know. And I see that all the time. I mean, when I don't teach freshmen right now, but I did for about 9 years, and you'd have these kids when they're 14, they're tiny,
awkward,
and then a year later, I don't even recognize them a year later. It's just it's amazing, and that is it. I think that does take a big, that's a heck of a transformation, and I think that maybe some of what goes on has to do with just the drama of that change. I mean, I don't think we can say enough about that. I don't know. I suspect that as far as there's something about what is it about schools, I wonder, and I've thought about this a lot, that attracts this kind of violence.
What do you have any ideas on that?
Gosh, not really. I've had my struggles, my issues, both as a high schooler and after. visiting violence on a place like this never occurred to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of dysfunctional things have occurred to me, but not that. And so I find myself kind of gobsmacked by it, really, just very much perplexed by where that's coming from and why is it leveled at places like schools.
Yeah, and
and who's doing it?
I can relate to being bullied, 2 different grades by 2 different people, but I never consider anything like that. And I do think that, I don't know if it's our society and this instant gratification and everybody's got to be famous and reality, everything is, I don't know if that's, it's definitely not helping the situation, but I don't know if that's playing a role or not.
I don't either. I think part of what goes on, I think, is what I've just been really, I've really been working with this a lot, especially in my upper level classes, is it's hard to describe.
Support group.
I'm sorry, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I had some sort of car media hiccup here.
Kicking Horse Coffee says.
I hear it.
Wake up with Kicking Horse, available at Amazon.
So one of the things
I
that
don't know why this is happening.
in
What is it, selling you something?
for this interview.
Forgive me.
Oh, it's all good.
No forgiveness needed. One of the things that I came across doing research for the interview today, Jim, was that some believe that it's the school system is our last soft target. Like, we go to a baseball game or we go to the airport, it's all very high security. And I actually went to high school here in Colorado. I graduated from Horizon High School in 1992. And we had 2 armed police officers and private security. And we had to go through, metal detectors. And this was an all-white high school, basically. And, it was a closed campus. And we never had any issues other than the occasional prank to get out of, a test. People would pull the fire alarm and we'd all have to go out the front door. So it's kind of strange to me as somebody who went to high school here and then seeing all the violence that we've had here in Colorado. And we've had, the Planned Parenthood thing in Colorado Springs, and then the movie theater in Aurora. So we've had other violent experiences here in addition to what we've seen in our schools. So, nobody checks for guns at a movie theater, right? So it's like all these soft targets. But how does being armed in these places help us? There's incidents coming out in the news now.
It seems to me like, and I know nothing about this, but it strikes me that when you let's say, I hear talk of this, they want to arm teachers. It just seems to me like for every weapon you put into a situation, you increase the complexity of it exponentially. And the risk and the danger of things just going incredibly wrong just multiply. Mm-hmm. So I just from a strictly tactical standpoint, I guess I don't understand that at all. To say nothing of, I will never put myself in a position where I have to decide whether or not to shoot a student, or anyone for that matter. It's odd. I feel like at this point we don't live in what you could call a civil society. Not with the kinds of the pattern of violence and the pattern of particularly of gun violence that we're seeing. I don't know what to do about it. It's funny. I don't disagree with, gun advocates or even a lot of NRA people, but I just cannot. Please don't tell me we live in a civil society. We just don't. Not at this point.
Yeah, I think it's quite broken. I think, it's just this increasing separateness. Everybody's just selfish and worried about beating everyone else and accumulating as much as they can. People just forgot how to treat people civilly. I think that's a very, very wise choice of words. Civil. It's not civil. And it's reinforced everywhere you look.
Yeah. You will hear this, I'm sure, from other sectors. It certainly was true of me. 2012, when the Sandy Hook incident went down, that pretty much was the end of any hope I had, really, personally, of being able to really affect any change. I thought, boy, if 22 elementary age children doesn't affect any change, then what, I don't know what will. What I'm seeing now is just, that gives me a lot of hope. It could be we've hit a moment, I don't think we were anywhere near that kind of cultural moment that we are now. I think Columbine's a part of that, probably, the kind of a foretaste of it, but it strikes me that some kind of sea change is afoot with the kids who are going to graduate here in the next several years.
What on a positive note, what are some things that you're seeing positive in students in this generation or the last few? I've seen my kids like acceptance of people with disabilities and stuff that, there's more acceptance overall. There seems to be, but a lot more than
yes.
Me.
You're absolutely right. There's a lot more tolerance. A lot of the kind of stuff that I grew up with, you probably grew up with in terms of marginalizing, bullying, that kind of belligerent, heteronormative kind of behavior is really not there. Not in any degree that it used to be. I think a lot of the culture wars of the 90s and aughts are just, you get to this generation and they're not even issues. They're over. They really are. And I just think, they will go away pretty quickly. I see a lot of hope. These are, the people, the kids I work with are wonderful people. And I think just have incredible capacity for service, for compassion, really bright ideas. They're making some really, I think they're getting ready to make some really big changes. I put all of my hope in them. I really do. It's a wonderful thing to be a part of, to witness, on a daily basis.
Well, I love your attitude as well because, I think that's unique in this day and age. And I'm a big believer that attitude is a choice of ours. Yeah. And,
absolutely. Yeah.
You could be cynical, you could be griping, but you're like bringing up things that are positive.
Yeah.
And
I swear, the kid, the generation, I don't like a lot of generation talk. I think it's kind of specious, but these are really pretty phenomenal people. And the thing I learned, this takes some doing. Okay. Trust me, I deal with my share of apathy and contrariness and defiant, oppositional stuff as well. But the by and large, the kids I work with love ideas.
Yeah.
And love playing with ideas, and you can sometimes you have to kind of trick them into it, but they really are there. We're talking about, civil society. I think a lot of that has to do with institutions, and I think decades-long neglect of really public institutions. You certainly see it at the federal level, the federal government level. I think these kids are going to get it back. I do. I think they want it. I might be putting that on them, but I don't think so. I think they want to. I think they want a government that works. They want a system of governance that, that they've heard about, and they deserve it. I mean, I can't tell you how many kids I have. Columbine sends a lot of folks into the armed services and, into the military. And they deserve to come home to a functioning democracy. And I think they're getting ready to, at least here, I think they're getting ready to make that happen. This last shooting, I think really the lesson seems to be really loud, that no change of any variety is going to come from anyone in authority. It's going to come. It's coming from the ground. It just isn't happening. So,
absolutely, it starts with each of us. Be the change you want to see in the world, and
exactly
the government, this division, and who's party and this that. Enough of that bullshit. It's not fixing any of the problems.
Yeah, it really has to go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, and I think this other piece is really important. And Columbine and this community has taught me a lot about this. I work with people and live with people who are way on the other side of kind of the opinion spectrum than I am. I mean, they're in, we would, we don't talk politics much.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that nobody in this school, nobody in this community wants kids to get shot.
No.
Absolutely. I mean, we're on common ground here. I mean, we're on the same team. Even though I maybe division doesn't sell ratings or what have you, but we really are on the same team. I know what I would like to see happen, but I also know that I don't know much,
Well, you know a lot more than you give yourself credit for, and I love your attitude. I mean, that's what we need. Is that's refreshing to me. Is your car talking again? It's refreshing to me.
Is my car talking again?
Yeah, it sounds like it. It's refreshing that to see teachers like you. I mean, you're not giving yourself enough credit, but it's awesome that there are people out there like you that are passionate, want to make a difference, and your attitude alone carries over to your students. I have no doubt. So keep it up.
I love that prospect. I really do, because God, it's just it's this is it. This is a wonderful place, to be. A high school is a really wonderful place to be. It's also completely exhausting, and I look at it as a good, if it works, it's like a good marriage. There are times when you just want to walk away from the whole mess.
Absolutely.
Of
course,
and
I'm the 44-year-old that acts like a 7-year-old, and I'm
right
the
there
problem
with you.
at my household with my teenagers. So
exactly. I was talking to a colleague today about I'm about 14 years of age with a prefrontal cortex. I have all the stupid thoughts, and I sometimes say them, and then I don't do them. I'm 15
awesome,
with a governor. Yeah. But
thank you so much, Jim. I hate to whack this interview.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think it's about to cut off, and that would suck. At least to have a normal ending. Thank you again. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, great. We'd love
I
to have
did
you
too.
again.
It's
to come back on. We may have to try. I'd love to have you back sometime to talk about more of this stuff. I think your voice and having someone, that's in the front lines and in the schools can really contribute, and what parents can do differently. you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Teachers like you.
Well, I would love that.
Well, awesome. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Next time,
Thank you guys. It's been a
run
pleasure.
your car.
Yeah, exactly. All righty, guys.
Thanks, Jim.
Great.
Thanks, Angela.
All right.
You guys have a great day.
All right, you too. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye.